Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. I propose we purposefully demean the images output by artificial intelligence and simply call them what they are. Pegs. Ask a computer to describe listening. Ask it to listen to listening. There is likely no output that would indicate successful accomplishment by the computer of listening to listening. But you could imagine it. More importantly, there is something else you can do that a computer cannot. You could do less than listening, less than hearing. You could merely notice something and then dismiss it. You can ignore while hearing, you can hear while ignoring, notice a thump, notice a crash, notice a wisp of the wind or a whip of the will, and ultimately decide, without ever being cognizant of it, that these things are not worth your attention. A computer can neither notice something nor take the next step of dismissing it. The closest a computer comes to noticing is waiting for a command. This reminds us that a computer program will never create a point of view, nor will it ever act beyond what it programs itself to do, which ultimately is to imitate imitation, the endless repetition of language via the meaning of that language upon further language. Let's pick two words: swelling belly. Imagine a swelling belly. Swelling belly has a discrete effect within your imagination, but your imagination doesn't need to stop with its first representation of swelling belly. If you choose, you can iterate through an endless collection of swelling bellies, all formed out of your experiences and your incredibly selective recall. It's critical that not all of your pre-existing knowledge inform the representation and mental identification of the concept of swelling belly for you. It's also critical that not all the possible reasons for the swelling occur to you. You simply imagined, and continue to imagine, swelling belly. A psychoanalyst, trained like artificial intelligence is trained, may try to identify neuroses based on your imagined swelling belly, but ultimately, those are the psychoanalyst's programmed biases coming out. If you continue to imagine swelling belly, you may choose the present tense action of a belly that is swelling. You may choose a specific location of the belly on a particular type of animal body. You may rely upon the name of the belly's owner, the past and future disposition of that belly. Is it fully distended by gas? Deflated like a balloon? Relieved of its internal pressure because it deposited a baby through the birth canal? Or has it exploded? We can compare all the internal representations that popped up in our minds with other experiences of other bellies, swollen or not swollen. This is a picture of lived experience, sometimes experienced through our physiology, sometimes via media objects, sometimes via the words of our teachers or friends or loved ones or enemies. But a computer must be fed this information, beginning with the concept of life, of animal and human bodies, the parts of the body, the genders of that body, the actions that may give rise to a swelling of a part of the body, and so on. All of this data is put into a database brilliantly designed in 2 or 3 dimensions, possibly 4, then operated upon as a coroner upon a corpse's bloated midriff. Let's oversimplify a bit, because this is computer science, and no matter how serious I am, I'm still mostly just an artist. The first operation is a check by subtraction against all other discrete units of information, with the aim of producing a perceivable output that reasonably represents a swelling belly. We say, "Computer, given the string swelling belly, please subtract all non-possibilities from the possible output and place them in memory. Do this until the store of all possible possibles and non-possible possibles is depleted. If the store of all possible possibles and non-possible possibles is depleted, proceed to all possible adjectives and adverbs that can be applied to the selected possibilities. Upon completion, proceed to the generation of a JPEG, if all non-possibilities have been subtracted from the set of all possible and non-possible possibilities. Of the infinite number of possible JPEGs you can produce, please select 9 JPEGs that fulfill the 47 requirements of human-readable JPEGs, which, of course, we have handily defined for you." Ah, nice job, computer! Well, now that we have a JPEG produced by the computer that shows us a swelling belly, what has the program or the computer in which it runs perceived? Nothing. It simply knows to stop when it can go no further. But can these new capabilities to generate JPEGs make we artists irrelevant? If so, this may be the only thing a computer can do that has any truly existential bearing on our lives. It's only a matter of time before one of these programs is going to be able to string its JPEGs together and display them at the rate of 24 frames per second. thus giving us, in a matter of hours, the second season of that one show that ended on an infuriating cliffhanger last night. And a lot of us will accept that because we humans are so good at taking the path of least resistance. We as a group will happily crush the individual human spirit if we can elevate our own will, our own pleasure, our own status, and our own well-being. All we have to do to achieve this is the depersonalization of the individual. We can reduce the achievements of the machines of Henry Ford to the math that makes them, completely divorced from noumenal or human concerns. But we must always remember, there is no spirit in Henry Ford. There is simply production. Like the singular, broad word love, we have no other word for artwork than artwork. And so for now, we must call the image files produced by artificial intelligence artwork, or must we? The pegs created by AI will always be less than artwork, will always be less than art, because perception is not possible by a machine. Even if a computer could perceive, one more step is necessary for it to create art and not pegs. It must be able to communicate that perception. This act, which amounts to one of the greatest intellectual challenges a human being can engage in, and which has no tangible value, is completely out of the reach of AI. However, this doesn't mean that humans won't exploit these pegs. Humans have exploited other humans since the dawn of recorded time. And humans especially love to exploit that which profits them. The art that artists make is not excluded from this, and AI pegs will be exploited not only by the big bad corporations, but probably especially by the small businesses who won't be able to afford the expensive work of human artists, all because their profit margins are so vulnerable. It is this exploitation that drives artists to other careers and cheapens our world. Perhaps it's not AI that will make artists irrelevant, maybe it's people. My wife read an early draft of this essay and said, if artists can't support themselves, there are going to be fewer artists as time goes by. More people will decide not to be artists, and if the computer gets good enough, it's very possible that people like me, who don't really care that much about art or where it comes from, are going to be okay with that.